Welcome to Helping Hands. This is where we celebrate the people across Australia who make the world a better place. Coming up today,
everyone is so welcoming and you come in and everyone's faces light up and you get to give them big hugs.
a weekend away for women.
A mentorship role is really about listening.
What does it mean to be a mentor? And we invite you to connect at helpinghands.tv. For over 20 years, Robin Morris has been organising weekend retreats for women. She started with a small group of friends and created an opportunity for busy mums to take some time out, complete some unfinished projects and spend time with other like-minded people. Over the years, the work has grown and today Robin and her team run 4 teapot weekends a year.
We often say what happens at retreat stays at retreat. The type of program we run is very relaxed, a lot of fun. We call it a family. You're part of the Teapot family.
I am a part of this group of women that puts these retreats together. We put all the details together, how we're going to run the weekend, the workshops that we're going to do, basically how we're going to serve these women over the weekend. Every weekend is different, but something always special happens at every single weekend.
Welcome the day, girls. I guess you've all got your name tags and your goodie bags. We hope you like your little treasures in your goodie bags. All the newies, can you raise your hand? If you haven't been to a Teapot Ministries retreat, raise your hand. Great, welcome, welcome. Next year is our 20th year of Teapot Ministries. It was small back then. We only had 21 to 35 women. It was quite small. For this weekend, we've got a mix. We've got a mix of women that are staying for the whole weekend, and we've got a mix of women that have just come for the day. We use craft as the means with which to draw women in, but it is about women coming and taking time out, connecting with other women, sharing their stories, caring for one another, just being a blessing to each other as we come together.
My role actually is a gopher. There's 3 fellas and about 40 women. I'm here for putting tables up, just basically running around being helping hand. Plan A, it's so far back I can't remember. This is my darling wife Dulcie. This is Plan C. Plan A, Plan B didn't work, but I know Plan C definitely is going to work. Well, I fit into this because my wife got involved in Teapot Ministries years and years ago. And of course, as everybody knows, if you're married to a quilter, you're part of quilting. The point of the whole weekend really is to pamper a lot of ladies that need pampering.
All right, ladies, can I have your attention, please? Excuse me, male, you are not meant to be in this room. Would you please depart? Thank you. This is our community room over here for this weekend. These are our weekend ladies and they're all sewing. And we've got a mix of ladies here. We've got some new young women. It's their first weekend. And up the back end where they're doing a project, we've got women that have been with us for 10 plus years. On this side are all our day visitors today. So these women are working on crafts that they don't have to have a sewing machine for. So we've got there's about 4 crafts happening there. Back corner there is our charity corner. So I've got women up there making blocks, putting them together. Some are cutting, some are sewing, and some are ironing. What goes on up in that corner will be what goes out to one of the charities that we bless.
I'm part of the committee, and when we do a retreat, I generally teach something to make. This time we're doing a table runner, so I've made one previously, and I've done all the instructions, or typed out all the instructions ready for them to go, and they're just following my instructions and my leadership.
funny. I actually got started with Teapot because my mother was involved with Teapot. Every year in July, she would go away to a quilting camp and leave me at home for my birthday. But then as I was old enough to join, I started coming to the camps as well. I asked to join the committee because I have events management training. I love crafty stuff. I then got sucked into the quilting as well and got bit by the bug. So then I started quilting, and then I realized how much of a heart these ladies have for serving other people and not just making stuff for fun, but actually making things to benefit somebody else. It's an inspiring community, actually. I think having all of the different generations and different ages as well, and we just all kind of click in our own way, we find something to bond over.
My favourite part of the weekend is getting to learn new things from people. I don't know how to quilt, or I don't know how to knit, or whatever. How do I fix this stitch? And everyone has a piece of information or some knowledge to pass down, and you always get to learn something new.
After the break, sewing machines and more.
Everyone is so welcoming, and you come in and everyone's faces light up and you get to give them big hugs.
Is this any good?
It looks fantastic, but I agree with you. I think we need to test it. And I think we need to start with this one, because that way they'll never know that we actually took one to test.
All right.
Okay, morning tea time. Time to go and get a cuppa, because it's time to chat, time to get together, time to be connecting with one another. We have been running 3 retreats currently throughout a year. We have one up on the Central Coast at Rathmines. We have one, and probably the main one that we do is at Kaya Ridge, which is at Tarmore. And then we've got this one here at Castlereagh. So one's in March, one's in July, and one's October, November. One of the ladies here is in her 80s, and a lot of the younger ladies are in their mid to late 30s and 40s. So we cover that range. We do make it just women. We would like to do some mother-daughter retreats, but these ones are specifically for women, so they can just unwind and get away from the kids and all of that, and yeah, just have a great downtime.
We come from Bomaderry down near Nowra on the south coast of New South Wales, and it took us about 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, about 3.
And we're just up for the day this time. We try and get up for weekends normally, but just a day trip.
It's a happy place to be, and I get quilting done.
It's
don't get done at
very
home.
satisfying. It feels like a family. We come away and everyone is so welcoming, and you come in and everyone's faces light up and you get to give them big hugs and spend time, in our case, doing UFOs or unfinished objects.
I always sew when I come to these, and I've been doing the same quilt for all of the years, trying to get it made for my eldest niece's 18th birthday. And she's 39 now.
Yeah.
I've got to get it finished.
Yeah, Mum's probably gone through thousands and thousands kilometres of thread.
Yes.
So much cotton, many colours. If someone my age was thinking of coming, I would just encourage them to come for the camaraderie, for the friendship. You can hear going on around us, all the chit-chat, the laughter. It's just a beautiful environment to be in. Coming from a culture where we're almost glued to our devices, be it our iPads, our phones or our computers, that when you come away, devices that we're attached to are our sewing machines or using our hands. And while you're doing that, you can still be connecting with other people. You can have really great chats, you can have deep and meaningfuls, you can share jokes, you can have laughter. You have such a deeper connection to one another. And I feel like that's something that in our general community we've kind of stepped back from a little bit. And so being able to jump into a cosy, warm weekend where we all just get to enjoy one another's company, delicious food and the satisfaction of creating. It's just a joy.
We have what we call a BMF Fund. BMF stands for Bronwyn McBurney Memorial Fund. Bronwyn McBurney was one of the first ladies that came to our retreats, and she came for the first 3 retreats. Sadly, she had melanoma cancer and died 3 weeks after the 3rd retreat that she attended. In honour of her, when we cost our weekends out, we put in $5 in our costing sheet that will go to the Bronwyn McBurney Memorial Fund. We've sponsored up to 6 women a year to come away, get the downtime and just be blessed by being part of this community. Quite often people who have been sponsored feel so honoured that they just want to contribute to pass the blessing on. And literally that's what it is. It's passing the blessing of a teapot experience onto somebody else.
If you are a helping hand or would like to see a helping hand from your local community featured on this program, visit our website and be in touch. We'd love to hear about the people and organisations across Australia who are making the world a better place.
Head over to the website and click through to the Helping Hands directory to connect with Robin and find out more about the Teapot Weekend Retreats. Welcome back to Helping Hands. This is where we recognise the positive contributions of people across Australia who make the world a better place. The panel joins Laura Bennett in the studio today and discuss what it means to be a mentor, the skills and attributes to look for, and also responsibilities we take on when we mentor others.
Thanks so much for joining me. With me on the panel today, we have Nathaniel Marsh from Dads for Kids, youth worker Nathan Brewer, and also psychologist Colette Smart. Thank you all for joining us. Colette, we'll start with you. When we're choosing a mentor, what sort of qualities should we be looking for in that person?
I think mentorship or finding a mentor often happens naturally if we're looking for someone. It would usually be someone who's already there in your life. Not always, but most often I find, for young people in particular, it would be a grandparent, an elder, a youth leader, an older family member, somebody who's already there. As parents, we can sometimes guide our children towards someone that we think would be appropriate. I had a time when my eldest son, who's now in his 20s, he and his mates were looking for a mentor, and there was someone that I knew that they naturally already kind of looked up to, and I approached him. Shout out to Josh, if Josh is watching. He was incredible, and he went, yep, I will mentor the boys. And he used to meet them once a week, then eventually it kind of spread out a little bit to once a month, but he just did life with these boys. It was fantastic. And I feel like if our young people don't have mentors, they're going to seek them out, and sometimes they can seek them out in the wrong places. And that's why gangs flourish, because young people are seeking someone, and as soon as someone makes connection with them, they will go where they feel they belong. And so mentorship is also part of belonging, really.
Nathan, do you see yourself as a mentor to the young people that you work with?
I prefer hero, but no, mentor's good as well. Yeah, it's a really good question. I think in my line of work, you deal with hundreds of kids, and so you can't really be a mentor for all of them. So I think I say role model for all of them, role model for everyone, and then a mentor for some. So your keener ones who want to ask you questions, big questions of life, who want to spend a bit more time and invest, then you're going to be a mentor to them. But you need to be a role model for all. So your life needs to be consistent with whatever lessons you're teaching them. Otherwise, teenagers and kids are amazing hypocrite detectors. So if you tell them one thing and live the opposite, they will catch it, and you'll lose their attention forever. Yeah. They'll write you off. So so role model for all of them, and my life and what I teach them needs to be very consistent. But then a mentor only for a few, because you just can't be a mentor for 100.
Yeah, and that's a very intentional approach to mentorship. But Nathaniel, can we all be mentors by default in some way?
We can. A big part of parenting is mentoring. But just as the guys were chatting, I often think of maybe children or teenagers who don't have a good father figure or mother figure, and mentoring for them can be very powerful because, as Colette said, you know, she was intentional about finding someone to mentor her sons. I can think of many friends, even my wife growing up, she was mentored by a youth worker. And that changed her life. That's you know, she would tell you herself that that's one of the reasons she's still here today. So I think especially maybe for someone who maybe there's a mum watching and she knows that her sons maybe need a good male influence, a male mentor, someone you trust, someone who holds the same values you do, could be a great option, and they can really speak into that young man's or young boy's life and help them. So I think, yeah, we can all be mentors. Parents are very much mentors for those that maybe don't have parents or just need some encouragement in their life. A mentor can be really powerful.
And I think there are times in parents' lives and young people's lives where the relationship just isn't connecting the way you might want it to. It's not that you're a bad parent, it's just the stage your teenager might be going through. It's more than perfectly okay. I think you need to give your children permission to seek out other role models and other mentors. I keep thinking of the research that says when a young person has at least one significant adult in their life, we see improvements in their well-being and their resilience. There's this meta-analysis, which is the gold standard of research, of 25,000 young people, and they found that across ethnicities, across socioeconomic status, even looking at risk factors in a young person's life, as soon as a young person had a mentor in their life, they saw improvements in their well-being. So as parents, why wouldn't we be seeking out mentors for our young people if we see them struggling a little bit and they're not approaching us for a while?
So Nathaniel, what would you say to the question of whether or not a mentor-mentee relationship has come to an end? Like, how do you know that particular connection is sort of wrapped up, I suppose?
I can look back through my life and I can see, I probably didn't realise it at the time that they were mentoring me, but it was almost an organic thing. So I think sometimes it just happens organically. So I think that could be, it just ebbs and flows. I know that's been the case for me in my life, but as Colette mentioned, you go through different stages. So life has seasons. So sometimes you need a mentor for a particular season, but I know of other people who've been mentored for 10 or 20 years by a particular person. So I think really, you know, you get to know the mentor-mentee relationship, you get to know each other, and I think it probably just ebbs and flows as a natural course of life.
I don't think the relationship has to end. So my mentor, after we've been catching up for about 8 years, he just said to me, "These are now peer-to-peer catch-ups. This is not mentor-mentee. Like, I've been with you for 8 years. Like, I don't have much more to tell you. Like, and so the relationship didn't end, but it did change. And so it was more, let's just chat about life, see how we're each going, and that was the change of the relationship. So yeah, the mentor-mentee part kind of ended, but the relationship kept going.
I think it's important to communicate it when you feel like it's time to end, not ghosting the person and just disappearing. Either the mentor or the mentee, I don't think they should just disappear. I think if you do feel like something really needs to come to an end, I think you need to have an adult conversation about it and chat about, you know, perhaps I'm moving to a new phase in life and I feel like I may be approaching somebody else, or I really appreciate what you've done up until now. Just really have the conversation if you feel like it's time to move on.
Yeah, the effective communication, clear communication, that's important as well. Thank you all so much for your contributions, and thank you for watching.
If there's a topic that you'd like to see discussed on Helping Hands, visit our website and be in touch. We love talking about the things that make the world a better place.
There are certainly many aspects to this topic, and I think it's important to recognise that we all have the ability to choose our mentors. Visit our website to see the extended panel discussion on this topic and to contribute to the conversation via our social channels. Mentorship can take many forms and can impact us in both positive and negative ways. Whether it's informal in schools, the workplace or sporting teams, or a formal personal coaching or parenting arrangement, we are all responsible for choosing who we listen to and how we respond. I like to think that for all of us, no matter what stage of life we are in, that it's a great idea to have a mentor, even if it's only for a season.
Let us know about the Helping Hands in your local community at helpinghands.tv. Send a photo or a short video and tell us about your local heroes in 25 words or less.
Special thanks to Laura and the panel, to Robin and her team, and also to you for being part of the Helping Hands family. Visit our website and interact during the week and tell us about the Helping Hands in your local community. See you next week.